From Islamabad, Col Bashir Wali Mohammed, former DG of the IB of Pakistan. From Delhi, G Parthasarthy, former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan. From Lahore, Barrister Zafarullah Khan, who's the president of the Watan party. And from Delhi, Maroof Raza. From Karachi, Zafar Hilaly, former Pak Ambassador to the US. And from Delhi, General D Bakshi, former research fellow at the IDSA. We have 3 Indian and 3 Pakistani panelists. And my first question is to Col Bashir Wali Mohammed. Now, what's going to happen, Col Bashir Wali Mohammed, is that, India with its clout and greater cooperation from foreign intelligence agencies, greater cooperation with the Gulf and with the United States of America, and also better human intelligence. This is, by the way, this is the latest picture that has come out there of this coward called Yasin Malik, his mask being taken off, and Yasin Bhatkal, and what Yasin Bhatkal is actually saying to his captors, that he's absolutely shocked at how he's been caught. My first question about Yasin Bhatkal is to Col Bashir Wali Mohammed. Col Bashir Wali Mohammed, now this whole Karachi project of Pakistan is about to be unraveled. The whole attempt to try and put an Indian face to Pakistan-sponsored and backed terror. So, what is the view of Pakistan right now on the slow but sure unraveling of the Karachi project?
Well, I have since I have no idea as to when in this. I just came to know throughout this program that that this chap has been arrested. Who is this chap? What he's been doing? Well, I have no idea, and as such, I'll not be able to comment on that. But as far as all this, what the introduction part which went on, that you talk less about Yasin, you talk more about the ISI. Yep. And your people across, they just forget what they are doing, what they are doing in the Balochistan. There are 24 camps there in Balochistan. They are being sponsored, they are being done by the Iraq. Okay, there are people in the Kabul, across, are cornered and all that stuff. So I think this is ongoing, this going on, unless we decide decide as to what has to be done. This destabilization business, Pakistan is destabilizing India, India is doing to Pakistan.
You can't destabilize India. No, you can't destabilize India. You can keep trying to destabilize India. But what has been actually happening, Col Bashir Wali Mohammed, is that this whole Pakistani business that we'll try and build up deniability. You see, around 2000, 2001, you were afraid of being caught. So what you did was you tried to build deniability. This is the whole Karachi project. You try and use some fugitive Indians. You back them with money and funds and arms, and to keep up the terror pressure on India. Now we caught the biggest of the fish. We caught the biggest of the fish, and his name is Yasin Bhatkal.
Keep doing all that.
You see, so
okay, you keep doing all that. As far as we are concerned, I mean, there are a lot of people over here also. This acquisition and this counter acquisition will go on. There will be no end unless we sit and decide as what to do.
No,
okay, so this with this your man, what happened? What happened in the Bombay? Let's just listen. What happened in the Bombay? The case. What was in the parliament?
Case?
Your own agency, that people say that was the raw. I mean, it was the raw established things.
What raw established?
Okay.
You're not sure about what you're talking about, sir. I think you're completely wrong in this case. As far as
I know what I'm talking. So you also keep.
You don't know what you're talking about.
So you also keep your this thing. Okay.
Sir,
I know very much.
2006 Bombay.
Please, you shut up. I'm sorry, and I don't feel like talking to you, a person like you.
Sir, that's all right, sir. You can go away from the program. That's all right. You see, we have to face the facts here, and sometimes the facts are bitter. They're not going to stop me from telling Col Bashir Wali Mohammed the facts. Col Bashir Wali Mohammed chooses not to answer. I wonder why. I think that itself tells you something. Now, Maroof, is the Karachi project as much of a myth as Col Bashir Wali Mohammed has tried to make it out to be?
Arnab, see, the Karachi project has been referred to not just by Indian and Indian writers in the Indian media.
Yeah.
This is beginning to figure in the writings of a lot of international academic experts who recently published books and documents in which, in case of Pakistan, you know, they tend to avoid being labeled for anti-Indian direct proxy activities. They may, for purposes of deniability, give it another name internally.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of their proxies are being given different names, they travel on different travel documents. But the fact of the matter is the basic working principle of the project seems to make sense to Pakistan. It made sense to Pakistan to be able to have deniability and to find pockets in India where there was a certain degree of anti-Indian sentiment and disgruntlement and exploit that to their advantage and say, see your own people. Remember, it was at about that time that President Bush in his speech had welcomed Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to say that here is the Prime Minister of a country which has one of the largest Muslim populations in the world and not a single Al-Qaeda member or affiliate. And that obviously pinched some hardliners across the border, and they said, well, we'll show you that there can be terror and terror linkages in your Muslim fraternity and community also. But having gone from that, now whether it's Bhatkal, whether it is Abdul Karim Tunda, whether it is Jundal, they have all referred to it. They've all been traveling on Pakistani travel documents. Where did they get them? And they have sufficient evidence through their family members and others of people being here, people going in large numbers. One of the disclosures of Abdul Karim Tunda was also the fact that hundreds of youth from Maharashtra, Gujarat, elsewhere went across to Pakistan to seek training post 2002. Whatever their reasons, but the fact of the matter is training was being provided, funding was being provided. The good colonel just left, he was upset. But the fact of the matter is they can keep saying that India is doing this in Balochistan, but I politely ask the Pakistani guests two questions. One is that even assuming that the allegations to some extent have some merit, what was happening in Balochistan before India got involved there? Balochistan has been a sole
No, but let's not go to Balochistan yet.
Since
No,
Maroof.
Okay, let's not go to Balochistan. Let's narrowly focus on this man called Bhatkal, right? Let's narrowly focus on him, yes. And then I'll go to Zafar Hilaly.
Yeah, Bhatkal, now see, the thing is, Arnab, Bhatkal is very clearly established that sometime in 2005, 2006, he went with his father to Dubai, and that's where he got turned into the Indian Mujahideen network, was there, became thereafter a very vicious leader of the Indian Mujahideen network. Please remember, one of Bhatkal's attributes to Pakistan and attributes to his capability was to set up a network which did not have any telecommunication linkages. He was basically interacting with various groups. The second thing was that his hand, and through various evidences that have been found, from 2007, the Mumbai train blast, he was involved in hundreds of killings and many more than that of injuries to people. The Jaipur bomb blast. After that, the bomb blast in Hyderabad, the bomb blast in other cities of India. It's all listed out, it's documented, as you have said.
And it falls
more than 200 people upwards are responsible. He is responsible for their deaths. Now,
Maroof,
if Pakistan doesn't want to own up to that, I just put one question to my Pakistani guests. On the 23rd of August, on Pakistani television, Pakistan's media was talking of religious strife within Pakistan. What the media was not talking about was it was basically for the first time in Pakistan that the Shia groups had begun to stand up to Sunni dominance, and the fighting was between two Muslim groups. Now, Pakistan says that communal tension in India creates terrorism and it's not Pakistan's doing. Why is there tension between two prominent groups of the Islamic fraternity? Pakistan must answer that, because unless Pakistan wields itself away from this anti-India doctrine which has led to terror within Pakistan, Pakistan will continue to be a larger victim of terrorism than we are.
Now, Zafar Hilaly, it's like this. Your Karachi project, you see, your Indian Mujahideen, the people you backed, sponsored and paid for, they have been exposed. Right? The chief operating officer of the Indian Mujahideen. Mr. Hilaly, you can hear me or you can't hear me? Mr. Hilaly, you can hear me, I hope.
Not very well, but
okay.
I can get the drift of what you're saying.
Let me just complete the question. The question is, Mr. Hilaly, this, that the chief operating officer of the Indian Mujahideen has been caught. The chairman and managing director and the CEO of the Indian Mujahideen are with you in Pakistan. This group has become dysfunctional. Your Karachi project, it's a matter of days and weeks, Mr. Hilaly, before the entire international media exposes the confessions of this man, Yasin Bhatkal. Why are you waiting for this to happen? Why doesn't your country just confess and then rein in the ISI? You know, this is now going to be the biggest global embarrassment if you continue to be defiant, because now we have not a dossier, you see, we have a human dossier. We can put this man on tape and telecast his confessions to the whole world, and you'll have nothing to answer for it. It's going to be worse for you, Mr. Hilaly, than the testimony of Omar Khayyam, who exposed the ISI. It is going to be worse for you, Mr. Hilaly, than Willie Bridget's testimony. It's going to be worse for you than all that. It's time for a confession, isn't it, Mr. Hilaly?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of Alice in Wonderland. What I want to tell you is, first of all, my congratulations if you have caught a terrorist. That means there are about 4,999 still to go, I'm sure. And good luck to you in catching terrorists. Secondly, we catch actually a little more than you. We catch about 3 or 4 a month who are armed Taliban criminals who have been funded by you from your 7 and 10 consulates in Afghanistan near our border, who are, I suppose, giving tourist visas. Well, we catch them and we don't make a song and dance about them, and they tell us a lot about what your antics are in Afghanistan. Now, the question is, I was asked by an Indian correspondent about Mullah Tunda, or whatever his name is. He apparently has confessed that Mr. General Hamid Gul was his handler. Well, if you were kind enough to send Mullah Tunda up to me, I keep him for half an hour, he will confess that Mrs. Sonia Gandhi was actually the one who was giving him all the thoughts that he had. Please, now, let's get serious.
But why don't you answer the question seriously? The question is very serious,
what question?
Mr. Hilaly.
There is no question. These are all allegations.
No, Mr. Hilaly, these are very serious questions, and I would like to tell you this very seriously.
What?
Mr. Hilaly, you see, you are aware of this all. And we are talking today about something very important. We are on the verge of exposing your Karachi project. You know the June 2010 testimony of David Coleman Headley. It confirmed the information regarding the Karachi project. This is your ISI LET brainchild, under which IM recruits are trained to engage in subversive and terrorist activities in India. Headley, in his confession, in case you have forgotten, Mr. Hilaly, said that the IM leaders, Riaz and Iqbal Bhatkal, the CEO and CMD respectively of this group, the Indian Mujahideen, are living under the protection of the ISI and the LET in Karachi. So I'm being so specific. Am I to assume, Mr. Hilaly, that you're being diversionary with your attempt to generalize and make humor out of this? I'm being very specific. I'm getting a counter to you from General Bakshi now. I'll come back to you after that. General Bakshi, your response to Zafar Hilaly. Let's not digress. Let's be very focused.
I would like to, highlight certain aspects of Operation Karachi. 2003 was the time when Operation Parakram had just gotten over, and the Americans were putting a tremendous amount of pressure on Pakistan to desist from, supporting or using terrorism as an instrument of state policy. Now, this was the time when the ceasefire on the line of control was also negotiated, and Musharraf was prevailed upon to reduce infiltration that he was doing into Jammu and Kashmir. This is the time the ISI felt it had to change operational track, and to that extent it had launched Operation Karachi, whereby 80 Simi youths were taken to the same camps in Baluchistan, trained there for 3 months, not in the use of small arms, but trained in fabricating improvised explosive devices from commercially available off-the-shelf chemicals like ammonium nitrate, like hydrogen peroxide, like Niogel and slurry. And Yasin Bhatkal and the Bhatkal brothers, and Qureshi, they were some of the kingpins of this entire first gang of 80. These were then sent back to India, and they in turn ran camps in Baroda, close to the forests in Gujarat, in central India and in Karnataka. And by 2007, they had launched an offensive, a bombing offensive across all major Indian cities.
Hear that.
The whole aim was deniability. The entire narrative was, this is homegrown terror. You are getting paid back for Gujarat. You know, and we had a lobby, unfortunately, in this country, which, you know, gave credence to this narrative, unfortunately. Now this lie has been nailed. We have the kingpin in our custody. And once these people are in custody, they sing like canaries.
Their tape should be put out.
In the next few days,